Everybody, this is Black Talk Sacramento number 13.
Number 13.
And we just want to welcome you. This is going to be a short show. One of our main contributors is missing today. Marishare Brown is not here. So
he's here, though.
He's here in spirit.
In
spirit, he's here. You know, he's here in spirit. I can still smell his Afro sheen. So,
yes.
Apple sheen or Afro sheen? I didn't get that.
1, 2, or 0.
You know what I'm saying? I can still smell his Afro sheen.
Afro sheen.
What's that blue stuff called? What's that blue
magic?
Blue magic. I can still smell his blue magic.
Take it back a little further. You got some Joe Curl in your hair.
Okay. I can still hear that. And Marishare, if you're listening, just playing. You know what I'm saying?
We got your back, brother.
Yeah, we know you don't wear Afro sheen. We know you're a blue magic brother. So we are located. We are Black Talk Sacramento records every second Tuesday of the month right here at Underground Books. Located at, where's this place located?
Where's this at?
Well, usually I just say 35th and Broadway.
35th and Broadway. Well, we're going to give the official Google designation is 2814 35th Street.
35th Street.
And the phone number is 916-737-333 and another 3. So you can go ahead and call up. Mother Rose is standing by to take your orders. We have local authors that are here that need your support. So if you can come through and buy a couple of those books. And also, I just bought a book today by the new intellectual guy that's hot right now. I forgot his name. Yeah, that guy. It's like Tynesha Coates. So he has a book out. It's all the rave right now. And then also too, we have a guest today that is an author. She's going to come and say the good word for us and tell us what her thinks. All right, we're gonna do our opening thing.
Doom 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 doom. Hey,
hey, hey, hey, hey, Black Talk Sacramento. Black Talk Sacramento. Black Talk Sacramento.
Where we at, y'all?
Black Talk Sacramento.
Hey. All right.
Welcome, Black Talk Sacramento.
Yes.
I love that opening. Though.
Yes. We change it up every day. We got to remix every month.
Yeah. We call it Oak Park Jazz around.
Yeah, we remix it every month. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because we can't remember nothing.
Because we can't really remember the last two. So we just come with something.
Once we do it, we don't go back and listen to it again.
It's improvisation on a whole new level. It's improvisation because we got Alzheimer's. All right, so
we got the beatbox, the saxophone.
He didn't say Alzheimer's. He said Alzheimer's.
Guess who do we have?
All right,
break it down, Mr. Gary Gosson.
Our very first guest is author Aquanetta Gordon. She is the author of Echoes of an Angel. Gordon has appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and television programs around the world with her son, Ben Underwood. She continues to share inspirational stories about raising Ben, a blind boy who was known as the boy who could see with sound. With him, Gordon co-founded the Ben Underwood Foundation to assist disadvantaged teens. Gordon continues to speak about her life with Ben at personal empowerment seminars, churches, and other events around the United States. Gordon was also chosen by the United Way in Sacramento to speak on behalf of the organization and share her story with corporate leaders. She is a native of Southern California who has raised 5 children, and Gordon currently lives here in Sacramento. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black Talk Sacramento, Miss Aquanetta Gordon. Yeah. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome.
To share.
Well, you know what? I am excited to have you here, too, because this book has been around for a minute, but people still talk about it. Can you tell us about Echoes of an Angel and what it's all about?
Well, this story is about, I have 5 children. It's about my 4th child. His name is Ben. Ben actually was diagnosed with cancer at age 2, and it's called retinoblastoma. And it is a child cancer, and it was in the eyes. And in that cancer, the process of that cancer, in order to save his life, they had to remove his eyes. Mm-hmm. So that was in 94. Ben became blind. He woke up from his surgery, And he was always this very energetic, athletic little kid, and very smart. At age 1, he's my walking phone book. He woke up from his surgery at 2 years old, and he said, Mom, I can't see anymore. I can't see anymore. He said, oh, I can't see anymore. I said, baby, yes, you can see. And I took his little hands, and I put them on my face. I said, see, you can see me with your hands. And I took put my hand to his nose. I said, smell me. That means you can see me with your nose. And I took his little ears, and I kind of pinched them and said, you hear me? That means you can see me with your ears. I said, you don't have your eyes anymore, but you could see. And we walked across the street, and Ben stepped up on the curb, and I thought, okay, Lord, the boy never stopped seeing, even without eyes.
I met Ben when he was, maybe 13 years old. The first time I saw Ben I walked into church, and there was this kid. The music was playing. I always sat in the back, but there's this kid jumping up and down in the front. He was dancing as if he didn't care. One thing I learned from Ben was Ben taught me that there was no such thing as he didn't have racism in his bones. And I asked him why. He said because he couldn't see. He couldn't see who he was talking to, so that made it possible for him to have an open heart. And so when I had the small chance to meet this kid, he gave me a chance to understand what it was like to really see. And see not with my eyes, but to be able to see with my heart. So what do you think Ben's message was to people?
That was the message. So many times we use our eyes to judge people, judge what you have on, what type of car you're driving, and we don't even realize what life is all about. And as his mother, he taught me that same thing, but truly how to love unconditional, because that's one thing that God tells us to do, to love each other unconditional, and that's exactly what Ben did.
Was it hard for you to write this book?
No, it wasn't hard at all. I had so much stuff that's not in the book that, because it is a Christian book, and things that people wouldn't naturally believe would happen that were supernatural things, because I tell people Ben could see. There are certain times where Ben said, Mom, when he would meditate, he called it dozing, he'd meditate on the word. He was actually memorizing the Bible. He almost had Matthew memorized. He could see, and Ben could describe people, but a lot of people wouldn't believe something like that is possible. I even had a man tell me, on the phone one time, he said, because Ben used what was called echolocation. So he saw what scientists would call seeing with sound, like bats and dolphins. So he rode bikes, he skated, Ben played video games. Of course, you couldn't click a video game. Kids swore he cheated because they couldn't beat him. But Ben was very competitive.
Very
there
much.
was nothing that Ben couldn't do. Much. But to see him and to understand that, what life was about, he just taught so many people.
So was he taught to see with sound, or was this something that he picked up naturally? How did he learn?
You know what? It was a God thing, but one thing in the waiting room, when he was having his eyes removed, the Lord spoke 3 things to my heart: that Ben would live and not die, he would see again, and it wasn't for me. Didn't quite understand it wasn't for me, but I knew he was going to see, so I never told him he couldn't see. I always said, go play, watch for cars, look where you're going, and hold your head up and look people right in the eye. So I would say, Ben, come over here. I'd let him go see everything. We only used visual words. We didn't use, go touch this, feel this. Go look at this, go in my room and look under my bed and get whatever pair of shoes I wanted him to get. For some reason, he was the only child of mine that could find anything, because the rest of them couldn't see nothing. But so we didn't use, the what people say, oh, feel this or look at it. It was go get whatever. So I always told him, hold your head up, look people right in the eye when you're talking to them, sit up straight. I didn't want him to pick up any blind gestures, and that's what he did. So, people would talk, Ben, turn and look at him, and people would trip out. When he played his Game Boy, his DS, he'd sit up straight and he'd look down at the game. So when the Lord had told me that, I believed that he was going to see. So I had an expectation of him seeing. So it wasn't, so it was normal for me to see him riding the bike, going off a jump in the middle of the street. I just told him, don't come in here crying, because you're going to get a whooping if you do.
Such a black mama. That's what black mamas do.
Right?
It's like, I'll whoop your butt if you come in here talking to her.
You
bet not.
You bet. For our listeners out there, the book is about 270 pages. And I'm talking about The Echoes of an Angel. The publishers here, the Tyndale House Publishers. Book just came out what year?
It was last year.
Last year. It was along with Chris Macias, I believe, down to Sacramento Bee.
Yes.
What was his involvement in?
Chris Macias and Tyndale's the publisher. Chris writes for the Sacramento Bee.
Right.
And so it's really done very, very professional. It was edited unbelievably edited. So it's really written well.
And he wrote a few stories on them before this book ever came out. Chris, that is. He wrote a few stories.
Actually, the first Cynthia Hubert was the first person that came out from the Bee.
Also from the Bee?
Yes, that did the first story. Mm-hmm. See, when the Lord had told me it wasn't for me, I didn't understand that part. And one day, the doctor, because we came to Sacramento in 95, and I made sure I had everything set up. And so we went to the doctor then. And then I hadn't heard anything from the doctor because he didn't have eyes. He went to the eye doctor. And I don't know, about 6 or 7 years later, he sent a card in the mail, and he told me to bring him in so he can check the orbits of his eyes and make sure everything was good. So I brought him in, and Ben when they called us in the room, Ben was sitting in one chair and I was sitting in the other, and Ben was looking down at his Game Boy. He was playing the game. And so the doctor walked in the room, and he looked at Ben, and he went back out and asked the girl, "Where's my patient?" And she says, "Well, that's your patient in there." And so he came back in. He didn't look at us. He walked between us, and he went over to the chart, and he looked at the chart, and he looked over at Ben, and he walked over to Ben. He didn't say anything, and I'm watching him. And Ben just kept playing the game, looking down at it. And the doctor got over his shoulder to see, was he really playing the game? Then he kind of knelt down and looked up into his eyes to see, was he really looking at it? Then he turned his head to me, totally puzzled. And he says, "Well, his eyes are enucleated, right?" And I said, "Yeah, he's blind." He said, "Well, how is he playing the video game?" And I thought, well, he's a kid. He played video games, ride bikes. What is he supposed to do, And he said, oh, no, this is impossible. He said, "We got to get him on Oprah right now. And from that moment, that's when he called. Well, they told him at the hospital that he needed to get the media and get a story written, and that's what he did. And then from there, Ben went all over the world.
And that was basically to talk about his unique qualities that Ben had.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And, I mean, you can Google him or YouTube Ben Underwood, and it's just all kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he came into the Observer a few times. I believe one of our photographers named Felicia Rule used to bring him in. And, outstanding kid. Very mannerable. I can see how you picked it up from you just by you speaking on the air here. We had some great conversations in there, and you just would never know.
Oh, yeah.
You just wanted the world for this young man.
Yeah. And, being his mother, it was so amazing because he really, truly was an old soul. I mean, sometimes I thought, okay, boy, you don't know more than me. Look, stay at your level. But to understand. Yeah, he did. But to understand the purpose, because each and every one of us are born with a purpose. Yes. It's not happenstance, and I didn't understand everything until hindsight, and I truly thank God for all my experiences, even being his mom.
That brings me to my question. Writing this book, how has it helped or changed you?
It's grown me up so much because in this whole process. Of course, Ben went around the world. He went to Germany, Japan, Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. He was the only person in the world to use echolocation, self-taught. Now, it wasn't something that he was taught.
So what did that mean, echolocation?
It's clicking.
Oh, he used clicking sounds.
Yes, like bats and dolphins. Okay. It's a sound wave that came back to his ears.
Okay.
So he could walk across the street, step on the curb. He can walk in crowds. I mean, he can
walk through doorways without hitting the jams.
And he just clicks along, and then he'll find out, how far something is.
The sound will bounce back to him.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So I even asked him, because I was curious about it. Well, he had to do what everybody else did. He had to clean up, and so he did everything. And then when the Oprah show came, they put a glass on the table, and this is the first time I really paid attention to what he was actually doing. He just did what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so they had a glass on this glass table, and so Ben clicks around the table. He goes. That's the sound that he made. He taught me how to do it. And and he clicks and he says, well, it's right there. And it's a glass. Mm-hmm. Kind of blew people away because it's like he knew exactly where it was and what it was.
Wow. So that's amazing.
It was
that
more
is very amazing. Yeah.
It was, and even when he was little, when Miss Barbara, who was his Braille instructor when we first came to Sacramento, and he did have a cane at first. Well, they had, made him a cane, teach him how to use it. But he was already walking without a cane, so he would walk and he touched the end of the fence. And he goes, oh, there's the end of the fence. Now, he's 4 years old. And Miss Barbara said, oh, okay, what is this kid doing? And he says, okay, Ben, there's 3 cars parked on the side of the road. Tell me when you get to my car. And so they walk, and he goes, here's the first car. Well, actually, that's not a car, that's a truck. And she thought, okay, Right. So he was at a whole nother level,
right? Yeah,
because it was more than just clicking. It was a God thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a prolific skateboarder too?
Oh, all of that.
He was
could shoot a 3-point shot in a basketball.
Basketball, everything.
Well, you know what it reminds me of is that when the sound waves bounces off things, it also creates a image. of things that if you bombard enough sound off of things, it will actually make an image that you can use. I mean, they use sound from telescopes too, where they have the radio telescopes and stuff, where they pick up sounds from space. So it makes total sense that you can use sound that way to actually map out your environment. It's very cool.
He was good at it.
And this is something
it's very
common in visually impaired people where they're hearing it.
Oh yeah,
heightened.
Right, yeah.
It does, but it was for Ben. It was something different because he taught himself to listen. It was more than just that. It was like the brain. He says, like we're in an airplane, you can hear the radio frequencies in the air.
Yes.
Yeah, he sounds like
but
he was beyond just listening.
Yeah, he was.
He was able to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that was one of the things, like being a mom, you like the kids were out on the street and we lived on a cul-de-sac. And so all the kids are playing, they're on their bikes, they're doing all kind of stuff. And before a car would turn the corner, Ben would get out of the street. Well, the other kids didn't move until they saw the car actually on them.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? They need to pay attention to Ben because he was more safe. When Ben moved,
you know what that sounds like. Wait a minute, no, you know what that sounds like. That sounds like Daredevil. Have you seen Daredevil on Netflix? That's what it sounds like.
But a lot of people, they
because he's blind, right? But he totally
he's like a
superhero.
Sounds.
Yeah,
but he was that kid. Yeah. I'm telling you, one time actually,
a real life Daredevil,
right at camp when they would go to the church camp, and. One of I forget the sister's name, but she was telling about this story where it was at night and they wanted to go down to the cross where they go and pray, all these teenage kids. And so they're following Ben in the dark, okay? But Ben said, okay, you guys don't go that way because there was a bear over this way. So everybody stayed with Ben and he took them directly to exactly right to where the cross was, down the hill in the dark where nobody else could see.
Yeah.
But he was that guy.
Yeah. I could totally, that's like.
Well, a lot of the kids he was a hero to a lot everywhere
Yeah.
A lot of kids still talk about Ben.
Yes.
I mean, I myself personally still talk about Ben. I carry Ben with me everywhere I go, because this kid was, to know him, it was really
he's definitely an inspirational figure if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just to,
Okay, he had some pretty famous friends. Who was his friend?
Well, of course he met Oprah and Ellen.
But no.
But
his homeboy.
buddy was Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Yeah, so even, actually we met Stevie. This company from England wanted Ben to promote their product here in the United States called Dolphin because they use JAWS here for blind. And so they sent us to this place called CSUN. And Stevie Wonder was there. And I went up to Stevie and I said, hi, Mr. Wonder. My name is Aquanetta. I have a son that's blind. His name is Ben Underwood. Stevie said, I want to meet Ben. I want to meet Ben. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, wait a minute. I said, Ben, get over here. Thinking you're the celebrity. And he met Ben. He loved Ben. And they hit it off. They became buddies. He came out to Ben's 16th birthday party.
Yes.
Yep.
And he even came out and went to the doctor with us. And then Ben, his cancer came back in 2007. And he passed away in 2009. He actually died on Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday, January 19th.
And he was buried on his 17th birthday.
Yes. But that day was the holiday of Dr. Martin Luther King. Yes. The next day was the inauguration of Obama.
Right.
And then Ben was buried on his 17th birthday. So I waited till Wednesday to call Stevie because I didn't want to interrupt him, because he really loved Ben. They were actually going to make a mama song for me because the boy sang, did music. There was nothing Ben didn't do. Mm-hmm. And when I called Stevie, he started crying. He said, well, why didn't you tell me? I would have made an announcement because he was performing that Monday. And I said, well, I didn't want to interrupt your time, and I didn't want him to be sad on that day. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, what do you want me to do? I said, well, if you could come, I'd like for you to sing the birthday song. And he said, well, I want to do more than that. I said, well, you do whatever you want to do.
You want to.
Right. He did a little eulogy, and he talked about how he met, because he was really excited to meet Ben.
The most amazing thing about this day at this service was I was at the house earlier. I was brought in to do photos of the event.
Right.
And so I'm at the house, and everything is cool. And I said, okay, Aqua, I'm going to leave. I'll meet y'all there. I'll be there when you get there. So I walk out the door, and this limousine comes around the corner. And I didn't pay any attention. I thought this was a limousine for the family. Well, the door opens up and out steps Stevie Wonder. So I'm trying to hold my composure. I'm trying to act like, And so I walked past him. I said something like, hey, Mr. Stevie. And I kept walking, right? But the most amazing thing was when he got up to sing in church, he's playing around on this piano for a minute. Then he says, it's amazing when you have vision and you can't see. And I was like, oh, my God. And then Stevie Wonder, that day he wasn't Stevie Wonder. He was Steve Lynn Morrison.
Yes, he was. And
he put aside the Stevie Wonder part and he just sang as if he was a member of the church. And this man sang like I had never heard him sing before. And it was like, yeah.
And he sang I Won't Complain.
Yeah. And it was
and that song
amazing.
So fit Ben.
Yeah.
You know, because not only did Ben teach me how to live, to not see what we see with sight, but to see through the heart.
Yeah.
The boy taught me how to die. Ben, not once did he complain about, I don't want to die. He was so excited about going because he could see beyond sight that he taught me how to do it. He didn't take morphine. And I'm his mom. And, you know, I just thank God because, you know, it wasn't sad for me.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Since you're here and you haven't, and I haven't said it before, I thought you were amazing because I watched you go through this. And you and Ben were like homegirl and homeboy.
Yeah, that's my
bad. Y'all hung out together like brothers and sisters more than mother and son. And even though he was going through what he was going through, you never let him see you go through it.
Oh, no.
And I thought that was amazing that you were able to handle that. I don't know what happened behind doors and when you were by yourself, but when you were in public and you and Ben were swinging, it was amazing.
I know. You know what? I did that at work as well. Nobody never knew what I was carrying because it was something I had to carry. And it was something that God wanted me to carry with him and not give it to anybody else.
Yeah.
So it was a process that I had to go through, and I thank God for that because when I did have to have my time, I went in my room and I had a fit, and I talked to God like he was right there. I said, okay, Lord, then you come take him to the doctor because I can't do this no more. Let me see you driving me. You hear what the doctors have to say. And the Lord, all he gave me was his prayer and complete peace that his will be done in this situation. So when Ben did take his last breath, all I could say was, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do with this? I literally had to ask the Lord for tears about a month later because I didn't feel that sadness or that missing him. And I was like, okay, Lord, I want to miss him.
He had walked you through
completely.
And you was fine. So, you know.
Completely. And it was like to know that you know that you know. Yeah. And this is not, you know, joking. It's just to know that he is in a place without a shadow of a doubt that I know that he's at a place with perfect peace.
Yeah.
That we're all striving to get to, you know. Yeah. And that's the greatest thing, the joy in my life is to know that.
To leave without regret.
Exactly. Right. And to see him do it. No, Ben just told me we had come back from Japan and his head was hurting. And the dates were so significant too in this process. So it was on a Saturday, and I said, well, when we get back, Ben, we were in the airplane, and I said, we'll go to the hospital. Well, after the plane landed, he felt better. He said, Mom, we can just go tomorrow, which was after church, which was Mother's Day, May 7th, 2007. And so we went after church. Well, he went home with one of the girls. She brought him home, and then we went to the hospital. They took him right in, and they did a CAT scan. And they came back and showed me the film, and they said, well, you know, it looked like his brain was hemorrhaging. And we were thinking he had a sinus infection. And I thought, oh, Lord, here we go again. Now, at this time, he's 15. Ben get on the phone, start calling his friends. Hey, guess what? I'm in the hospital. My brain's leaking. I said, Ben.
And that's how he was.
Yeah. I said, baby, you can't tell people that. I said, Ben, this could be serious. He said, okay, Mom. I said, no, baby. This might be cancer again. He said, and? I said, Ben, you might die. He said, you just be ready to meet me there. Just like that. I said, okay, Lord, let's do it.
And he would. The thing that was crazy was he would do things. He didn't wear glasses.
No, well,
he wouldn't wear glasses.
Or shades.
He want you to see, or he want you to check him out. You know, and he'd look at you. It was like okay, but he was actually to me. It was just getting people ready. You know, I'm going through something, y'all. I want you to see that it ain't that bad. You know,
exactly.
It was a great thing. It was a great, and I thank you. You know, I thank you for Ben.
Oh.
You know, it's like thanks.
And I thank God. I thank God that he chose me. I don't know why. I'm like, okay, Lord, what am I supposed to do from here, you know? But I don't really totally understand the purpose of why he chose me because that was moving. Ben's purpose. You know, when it was like, I don't know if there was really, I think he chose me because he knew I'd whoop him, you know, with a blind kid, go play, watch for cars. And it was not, you know, there was things I had to turn my back on because I didn't want to see him get hurt. He never complained. One thing he said to me in the hospital, he said, Mom, I got one confession. And I said, what, baby? You know, thinking he's going to tell me something. He said, well, him and his friends, when they were little, they went somewhere on bikes and he got hurt and they had to carry him home. I said, well, what happened? He said he didn't remember, but it was really bad and they had to carry him home. And I thought to myself, what did I do? Because He never told me. What if he need to go to the hospital? But just to see that he was so confident.
But he was still a boy, though.
He was still a boy. Yeah,
he was still a boy.
I used to say, anybody ever seen? I thought, anybody ever seen a bad blind kid? I have a bad blind kid. He's jumping off cars and doing all kind of crazy things. But.
Right.
I'm grateful I wouldn't have had him any other way.
Right. To experience it sounds astonishing.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by the story. It's like a modern day daredevil. I mean, my goodness, he could just use echolocation to find out where everything is. Not only map his environment, but also locate objects.
Right.
And that's, to me, that's amazing to be like, okay, there's a glass right there on the table. That is amazing, and then can distinguish between trucks and cars, and to me, that's astonishing.
He would see me, and he'd say, "I'd say, hey Ben, how you doing?" He said, "Come here," and I'd come. He said, "Let me see your hand." And he'd feel my hand. He'd feel my ring. Oh yeah, that's you. So he was like that.
So did he ever have a girlfriend? That's what.
That was one of the things that I thought.
Probably had a few of those.
He
loved him. Yes, he did. And even before TV. Yeah, even before TV, because Ben was a communicator.
Okay.
See, Ben knew how to talk. Most boys at that age don't know how to talk, but Ben knew how to talk.
He knew how to communicate. Right.
Yes, right. And young girls, they want somebody to talk to.
In touch with their feelings.
Yeah. No, because I've spoken with United Way. I've spoken at different places. One gentleman said, "Oh my God, you're Ben's mom." He said Ben would come to his house, and him and his daughter would sit on the porch, and he would listen out. He would open the door a little bit and listen to what they're talking about, and he couldn't believe the wisdom and the things that Ben would tell his daughter when she was having, difficulties or hard times. He would always inspire her or talk to her, and I thought, wow, I don't even know who this man is or where he lives.
Right.
But Ben just did his own thing, and I just expected. I trusted him that he was.
Well, you learned a lot after the fact. After he was gone, you learned a lot from people because they told you things.
Yeah,
that you
because
didn't know.
they wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
This is my experience with him, and this is my experience with him, and so you got a whole other look at it.
Right. He had a life. Great. He had a life outside.
He had a big life.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
He did. And one thing I with all of the experience that I had, and I've got videos from everywhere, YouTube. I even got them in Japanese videos that I can't even understand what they're saying, But I have all these things that even today I could still look at him and see him.
That's right. He's still here.
Yes. But that's something I'm like, wow, that would be so amazing. Most people would do that. And if they get that opportunity to, videotape your loved ones. And so you can always have those memories, And I'm just so grateful for that because I could see it anytime I want.
It's forever. Right. It's a forever thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's in a psychology book. They use him all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. They studied him. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. So we want to thank Ms. Aquanetta Gordon for coming to
Yes.
And once again, that book, Echoes of an Angel, please go out and get it because
it's right here at Underground Books. You could buy it. How much is it? How much is the book?
I think it's $15.99.
$15.99, folks. Echoes of an Angel.
Yes.
Please get this book.
Come on out here and buy the book and learn of
true story of a boy who lost his eyes but could still see. Echoes of an Angel.
And read this wonderful testimony of a amazing, astonishing
hero
story of a boy that, oh my God, can you imagine? A modern day daredevil to my mind, man.
He went around the world. I haven't did that yet, so
right?
A lot more this time
met Oprah. Okay,
hey,
you know what I'm saying? Oprah.
Some people wait a lifetime for that. Some people don't even see that in a lifetime.
Okay.
And you know what was so amazing?
To Oprah, you'd have made it.
He also could surf, y'all.
He could surf?
Yeah.
He was a surfer.
He was a surfer.
Well, we went to Hawaii, too.
He was doing too much.
Wait a minute. So, I'm his mama, and I told him I got behind him because, we got the news there. And I said, okay, Ben, don't embarrass me. You better get on that board and ride it. So his first time up on the wave, on that board, he got up and rode that wave all the way out.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did.
Oh, right. He didn't want to make his mom embarrassed. You better not drop off that surfboard.
Don't you fall, boy. Don't you fall.
No, you better not fall.
You got to come home.
My poor baby didn't have a chance. He had to.
Okay, right. Very good.
So let's all give her a round of applause for coming, Ms. Aquanetta Gordon.
Thank
you. We appreciate you.
Amazing story.
My soul sister.
All right, my soul brother.
I think that we have a new poetry series that's about to happen. Goss is putting on at his gallery.
Yes, Senior Readers Speak. For the first time in Sacramento, we're dedicating poetry to the seniors. So every last Saturday of the month, starting on Halloween, October 31st, we will have Senior Readers Speak featuring, promoted by Straight Out Scribes.
Okay.
So you must be 55 and older.
Must be
to spit some words out there. So come on, the door is open to everybody. It's a good place for the younger crowd to come and pack up some of this wisdom that these folks will be coming down with.
Okay.
October 31st.
October 31st.
And who's your first
1825 Del Paso
Their
Road?
first featured poet is Mr. James Sweeney.
Okay. Very good.
And we have, it will be from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. It'll be enough time to get you in and get you out.
Okay.
And that's 1825 Del Paso Boulevard?
1825 Del Paso Boulevard, number 2, suite number 2.
Mr. Sweeney is pointing at something. What you want to say something?
He's got a poem that he'd like to read here.
He's a poet and he know it.
Yeah, my feet show it. They're long shoulders.
Welcome,
Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As you all already know, the Million Man March is the 20th year. And I was at the original Million Man March, and I wrote this poem on 2 newspapers. I can't remember whether it was the Washington Post or the New York Times, but I was inspired. And so I just like to give you all one poetic piece.
We'll give it up and turn it loose.
Well, right on. It's called Up, Mighty Marching Man. Brothers, brothers, and more brothers, regardless of stature, status, and stake, over 1 million men on the make and the men. We let ourselves in the Million Man March. From D.C. did we start. A profusion of black intersected to place racism on its back. By bus, by train, by plane, by car, by caravan, and by feet. With none do we retreat. With all did we meet and enthusiastically greet. From California to Connecticut, from Alaska to Alabama, from Ohio to Oklahoma, from Mississippi to Michigan, from Maine to Maryland, from all 50 states we were dedicated and awake. With all hues, we have come to pay our dues. With God on our minds, justice is not far behind. Identity, purpose, and direction, much unity is erected. A wall of respect is detected. Love our wives, mothers, sisters, grandmothers, women and girls. We offer protection as we fight for ours, including the benefits of elections. We atone for too many wrongs, rebuild our families and make them strong, busting the back of addictions, crack, alcohol, cigarettes, and weed as we in the black community do the right deeds. Economic and educational self-enhancement cannot but engender and drive African-American advancement. Shiver through my spine to see and feel 1 million of mine, my soul made whole while the brothers and sisters, the stories they told. My back was not bent, my head was held high. I knew God was in the sky, very close by. I see our fair share. I see us there. I see our families held high as mothers and fathers no longer cry, as the killing of each other dies. No more reason to lie, not waiting for the sweet by and by. Back home to reconcile and atone, our leadership not gone. As only we can, up, mighty man. With over 1 million we can, up, mighty man. We here make our stand. Up, mighty man, as we take our land. Up, mighty black man, as no other can. Up, mighty man, with love we take our stand. With knowledge we perpetuate our plan. Waving our money, clout in hand, swaying to the morning drum beat. Africa calling, we must take the heat as we evolve and become complete. Up, mighty man, old and young. Big and little, tall and short, round and rotund, lean and clean, bold and black, 1 million in fact, we will never turn back.
All right.
James Sweeney, ladies and gentlemen.
James Sweeney.
Señoritas Speak, Goss Art Gallery Studio, October 35th, 31st, 2 to 4.
Wait a minute, Round and Rotund.
Rotund. Round and rotund. That, you know when you're round.
What is rotund?
Rotund is rotund, baby.
Okay.
You ever see the rotunda upstairs?
What? The rotunda.
Do you know the word corpulent?
No.
Me either. But you guys should explain it.
Since you put it out there, you better tell somebody what you're saying.
Well, corpulent is a sort of a big person.
Okay.
Like,
so rotund.
Like rotund.
Rotund. Okay.
You're big as a corporation.
That sounds
It's a big word for a big person.
Hey,
all right.
But anyway, though,
thank you, James.
well, how did you guys? How did you fellas come up with this idea? Because there should be, more senior adults involved in these type of projects that's going on them just for them. So
which idea? For the poetry?
For the senior readers.
Well, actually, the poetry.
It sounds like
senior readers. Senior readers speak. Actually, is the brainchild of Straight Out Scribes. It's the job who came to me and asked, would it be okay? She thought that the gallery was a good place to have it, and I thought it was great because I had never heard anybody talk about doing that. Most poet events start at 9, 10, 11, 12 at night. And most people 55 and older are not trying to necessarily get out there to go to read a poetry at that time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they figured that 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 would be a great. There's going to be.
It's bright out.
It's bright outside. People
they
still
can drive there
where they want to. There's going to be poetry. They're going to have raffles and all kinds of stuff. And the event is free. Doesn't cost to get in.
Okay.
So come on, meet and greet.
Yeah, come on. Is it a potluck kind of thing?
Well,
Can they bring?
They will have some light snacks there.
All right.
But
because old folks can cook now.
Well,
I come if they
gonna cook it. See,
we want you to come anyway.
We want some sandwich. Well, you got it. Once
but
again,
they're gonna, it's Asians. They're gonna age me out. They're gonna
age him out.
I can't even read a poem. I can listen to a poem.
55 and older. Anybody can come, but 55 and older to say what you got to say.
Okay, 55.
So don't try to sneak in if you're 54. We checking ID at the door.
You go bounce. You have a bouncer. You got a bouncer.
That's right. 54 and a half.
Don't even try to. Don't come here with no Halloween costume, old people, because we kicking you out. Okay, this is exclusive for people 55 and above.
But you can come.
I'm policing the joint.
You can come and check it out, though.
Okay,
Please come and check. Please come.
Sound like it's going to be a great event.
Very good. Great. So what time is it right now? Observer
time. Observer news.
So what's happening in the Observer, Tony Harvey?
Here he is.
So what's
Sacramento
happening in the news, man?
53 years. Well, on the front page of the edition, October 8th through 14 edition, we have this children matter thing. Everybody got these matters. You think children don't?
Well, you better think.
Yeah, matter is the word.
It's the new
word. It's
the
word for this year.
Well,
matter.
And this particular story was about a committee to reduce black child deaths. Shares plan with the county supervisor, which happened last week. I talked about this a couple shows ago about how infant death mortality is in the county, and they're trying to combat that, and they came up with a few things. And
it's important. The kids got to be here, man.
Hey, if they don't make it, we don't make it.
We don't make it.
Yeah,
it's just that simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, you got to. You got to have babies.
Also, going into next month, so I might well mention it now because she'll be here tomorrow, which will be October the 15th. Marion Jones, former Olympia Marion Jones, will speak here locally at the Indivisible meeting. It was scheduled to be at the Gill Theater, but they have moved it to Sacramento High's Mel Lawson Theater. But tomorrow, that thing will start at 6 o'clock, and it'll roll about 90 minutes, so it'll end at 7:30. And then everybody know Marion Jones' story.
That's a great story.
Mm-hmm. Very good story. You had to do redemption herself. Compared on the track and field scandals that was happening in those days. And she spent 5 or 6 months in federal prison. She did her time. Now she's back out. She done wrote a book.
She's got her family together.
She is married. Everything is lovely.
Does she have 2 kids?
We do bounce back. She has 3 kids.
3 kids now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She married a sprinter. I forget his name but he was a very good world-class sprinter at the time. But hey, life is dandy right now, so we do want to keep our.
She was convicted of.
She was convicted for obstruction of justice during the Balco investigation. With the steroids.
Doping.
Doping. Steroids.
Yeah.
So she was. She was obstruction of justice, but not the steroids itself. Yeah. She wasn't.
Well, you know how it is. When the federal government come after you, they're not going to get off your tail. So she came up with it. They offered her a deal. She took it.
Oh.
There may have been some other things behind that. She wasn't convicted of them. I'm not going to talk about it, but. There were some things she was questioned about. She left it out. That's what she did time for. 5-6 months, federal prison. Of course, it's never easy to do time and stuff. She did her time. She's back out. She's on the lecture circuit.
She's on the lecture circuit talking
That's interesting.
About her story.
So, talking about her story. So, what's her take on this? How she?
That's a good thing. I would like to talk to her about it.
I don't want to say spin, but how she's.
Yeah. She's been I'm not going to say avoiding the press or anything like that.
There was a big thing on Oprah. Oprah, Where Are They Now? Had her on there.
Oh. And
she talked about how, it was difficult, to be up on top of the world for a minute, and then next thing you know, you're flat on the ground. That whole story.
Yeah, that is a good...
She was the
how
number one.
Right, go from famous to infamous.
Think about it. In the 2000 Olympic, she won 5 medals.
And then she was stripped.
No one else ever did that.
And they stripped them.
And they stripped of all.
After that, they stripped. I think they only stripped her of everything that happened from 2000 until the time she stopped running.
So
anything before that, she wasn't disqualified.
Was she the only one that?
Oh, absolutely not. Because between 2000 and 2004, a lot of athletes were either suspended or banned from the sport,
but didn't go to
jail.
But didn't go to jail. But
didn't go to jail. Now there were some other people behind her that went to jail, but they went to jail
not even Armstrong
for
went
other
to jail.
things that had nothing to do with doping.
She got caught up in court. When you lied to the judge.
That's obstruction of justice.
Obstruction of justice. So it got kind of crazy.
I don't know. I don't want to say it was a black thing, but.
Stay off the black thing.
This is a widespread thing.
She got her hand caught in the cookie jar, and she got caught.
But it's like nobody else went to jail except for her. But
at the same time, though,
because if she's doing it, it's a common thing.
Everybody was. I ain't gonna say everybody, but there was a lot of people.
But there was a lot of people doing it.
There's a lot of pressure, man. I mean, you talk about track and field. They don't make.
It's all about
professional football and basketball money, but they do make some pretty good money.
Yeah, but it's all about seconds, right? It's like you got to get that edge.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get that edge,
and that's what we see in baseball.
Right.
That's that. It's like, hey. 5 years ago, he wasn't hitting the ball like that, and I know I'm better than him. Where's this juice stuff?
Yeah, where's it at?
Put me on it, Okay?
Right. It's true.
So it was widespread. And she's running laps around people, and they haven't even started yet,
Now, the thing about it, when she was released from prison in 2009, she signed a WNBA contract with the Tulsa Shock, and she played a couple of years for that team. Mm-hmm. She signed, of course, a rookie contract for about $35,000, a season and stuff. But she was waived maybe a couple seasons after that. So
can she get back into sports?
No, she is banned from track and field. She can do any other sport she wants, but track and field is out.
Over.
So she can't even redeem herself.
Not on that.
Well, not to that.
I mean, she's redeemed herself.
She could be a coach, She could be a coach.
She's going around, and part of her redemption is going on this tour and talking. And she's telling her story.
You got to make money,
and that's how she's making her money.
Does have a family to support.
Yeah, it's hard.
Do not blame her for that.
Yeah,
but once again, she will be here in Sacramento in the Visible meeting.
So if you want to know more, about being famous and then going from hero to zero, you can come out and listen to this sister talk about how to rebound from that, because that has to be something that it's hard to rebound from.
You're here, and someone
that'd be very hard.
Like I said, you go down quicker than you came up.
Okay, gravity, baby. You know what I'm saying? That gravity is something else.
Down.
The gravity and the ego that went along with that.
Yes. You clip your wings, baby.
Oh, you have to save face.
But no. If you read her story, if you analyze her story, Marion seemed like and this is just a personal opinion, Marion just seemed like she surrounded herself with the wrong type of people.
wrong people, because she wasn't listening.
And it was all about money.
So nobody on her team went to jail.
Yeah, yes. The father of her first child
went to jail.
He's in jail right now. He's doing like 10 to 15 years for he was washing money somehow. It was a bank fraud.
He was a money launderer.
To that effect, right. Actually, that's what the government came after her for.
It was in the sports. It was all connected in that.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, he was...
It's a lot of money involved in the sport,
But see, the thing about it, the light came on him, and it shined on her. Mm-hmm. And that's where
because it was her bank account.
So that's she got caught up in the.
She got caught up in it.
Yeah, and then later on, one thing led to another. Then her name pop up in these Balco investigations.
And so they're already investigating for one thing. So we might as well just take this whole shit down.
Let's broaden the scope here.
She's very lucky. She could have went to jail.
She could have went to jail
for a long time.
For a long time.
Okay, so what else do we have in an Observer?
Yes. So we did want to.
So when is she coming again? When is she coming?
She'll be here tomorrow, October.
Oh, she was here already.
No, she'll be here tomorrow.
She'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, she'll be here tomorrow.
Yes.
Wednesday, October 15th. And she will appear at the Sacramento High School Mel Lawson Theater.
So by the time you listen to this podcast, it would already happen. It would have already happened.
It was.
But anyway, it's a good thing to talk about.
Right. It's a good thing to talk about.
Now, also, another thing that we've been talking about, at least in the Sacramento Observer News, and I'll read this to you real quick. The racial profiling bill was signed last week, and this law requires that law enforcement agencies to collect racial data. Okay, Governor Brown has approved legislation to change California's definition of racial profiling and require local law enforcement agencies to collect demographic data on people they stop. His office announced last week. Now, that's been rolling on long. Now, before that,
what is the effect of this policy? Is it positive or negative for us?
For us, it's positive because, before that, they were doing it voluntarily and stuff like that. Now they're mandatory that you do it. Okay. Now we're going to be looking at these numbers a little bit more closely.
Okay.
All right. Racial profiling, we talk about black and brown people right off the bat. Okay.
Right,
and we know we're targeted. I mean, you'll be walking down the street, you're going to be racially profiled.
Okay.
So if you're going to stop and question these people, you got to collect.
So they can look at the data and be like, okay, you're stopping way too many black people right now.
Yes.
So you need to.
And if there's not an arrest or anything behind it or something like that,
will that data be available to the public?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
It always is. I mean, if it's taxpayers' money.
Okay.
It's going to be put out there for us to see.
Okay.
And, that's just one of, what's this, Assembly Bill 953? That's just one of several bills that made it through the cut because there's some other ones, I guess they even stalled. We haven't heard on them or they're still trying to push them through. And we probably won't hear any more about that until next year.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, that's a start. I mean, we all know what type of problems we have with law enforcement. I mean, we do want them to do their job. There's no doubt about that. I'm not anti-policing. Anything like that, but there's still some few bad apples out there.
I also heard that Jerry Brown just enacted a policy that is mandatory to be registered to vote. It was just recently that he signed that into law.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory now.
Mandatory for who?
It just automatically, once you go to the DMV, it automatically enrolls you.
Enrolls you. Okay.
Yeah, into so none of that voter ID stuff for us in California. Yeah. So we're definitely leading the field for that. So every black person be registered to vote.
So
if they have license.
Yeah, if you go to the DMV, you're automatically enrolled in. On the voting. That's very good.
They always talking about voters.
They said it can increase by 1 million.
If it increases, that means you still got to get the people to go to. But
it's just one less step. It's like, okay.
But now you got to convince them to vote. We're probably the most non-political people on this.
Well, we have apathy. When it comes to voting, because we feel like our vote don't matter, but
you got to stop that. That kind of attitude has to stop.
If you don't vote, you don't matter.
You don't matter.
Get out and vote.
Vote matters.
You can't complain.
Don't wait till afterwards. Oh no, see,
you can't complain about what's not going on.
You got a voice, but you didn't use it.
Black life matters. Vote matters.
Voting matters as well.
So yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So that's AB 253. We'll see how that works out in a few years.
What else you got?
Okay, I do have one other thing that my colleague wrote, Ms. Genoa Barrow, Observer's senior staff writer. Author empowers victims of domestic violence. Teresa Office shares her story of surviving abusive relationship and finding courage. We're seeing so many other books like that come out like this day because domestic violence is up.
Well, I think they're more vocal now. I think it's always been there. It's just that women have kept silent, about this, about this thing that happens to them. Because I know personally, every woman I've ever dated pretty much has told me that they had some kind of attempted rape or attempted something. It's like almost like walking down the street, they are accosted, by men. So where they actually grab them, that kind of thing. And so I think they are being more vocal now, where they actually think it's okay, especially with this Bill Cosby thing. Right. You're like, oh, well, we got to talk about this now because, that gives them permission to more people come out. It's an epidemic.
People are developing more courage. It takes a lot of courage to tell somebody abused me.
Yeah.
And because most people don't want to feel like I'm weak, or they're sending off a message, I'm weak. I was abused because I was weak.
Yeah.
So that's the psychological thing that plays.
When it happens to a man, men don't talk about it. Yeah.
Well, but everybody's going to start talking about it now because of the fact that it's just people are tired of the behind the door stuff and sweeping under the carpet and stuff like that.
Right.
So how can I help anybody else if I keep being silent about my problem?
Right.
Okay. The more people hear things, the more willing they are to talk about it. So you're going to hear people be more vocal about it.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing because then you have to, it develops empathy with you.
Like you said about the men. If men had enough nerve to talk to each other about what they've gone through in life, it might be an easier place to live in.
Yeah.
You have so many people that are damaged walking the world.
Yeah.
We need mental health like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. We need that arm of mental health to wrap around this whole community because there are so many people hurting in so many different ways. Forget about the black, brown, the color. What's happening outside of that?
Yeah.
The things that are causing me to feel like I'm less a person because someone has hurt me.
Yeah.
And I can't stand up and say I'm hurting because I don't want to seem like I'm weak. So it's going to have to be a new campaign that says it's okay to say I've been hurt.
Yeah. Or not only that, but it changes the whole how people see you. So
sure.
You don't want to be known as the person that went through this trauma.
But at
you
the
want
same
to
time,
be a regular
also
person.
Could be by you coming forward and talk about it could also be that you're the person that's showing a sign of strength. Because you got to think about how many people haven't said anything.
And when you start talking about it, the other ones follow somewhere down.
Yeah, well, because people be like, oh, well, if you can open up about this, then maybe I can open up about this and be accepted.
Sure,
and that's the issue, like to be accepted as you open those things.
Well, it's the stigma of mental health in the black community, the brown community of if you go to mental health, you're crazy and all that. We got to get past that.
That's the stigma.
They had a big town hall meeting recently here at the Guild. It was about mental health
last week.
And so my question was, which nobody answered or nobody asked, was what are you going to do in the black community to get rid of the stigma of being crazy because you need help? Okay? There's a lot of people walking around here crazy. We don't know crazy when we see it. Okay? Because we're so busy calling each other crazy.
Well, we all got something going on.
There's something going on with everybody.
And I say that respectfully.
Yeah.
And I mean, not in a disrespectful way. Everybody's lived a life where there's something that happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my thing is that there are people walking around with heavier crosses to bear than others, and sometimes it makes it hard for you to be productive. Because you can't get past your trauma.
But that's why you have to talk about it.
And that's true. And not just we don't want just to be medicated out of that issue.
No. You need to have somebody that's there that can have a conversation with you. That's willing to talk to you and tell you about what's going on.
Talk you through your obstacle.
Talk you through it.
When you talk about these things, then that's when people realize that, hey, I'm not the only one because other people come forward with their stories, and that helps out a whole lot.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like group therapy, right?
Right, exactly. It's therapeutic.
Right.
It's therapeutic.
Right. We need
that. I mean, I'm just
the black community just need a big group hug. That's all.
Well, but
like you said,
we have to stop
look at me like everybody like I'm crazy because I'm telling you about this.
Right.
It goes back to when I said there's got to be some trust. We don't trust enough to be able to say, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell Tony and Lawrence about my problem because they're going to get around and talk about me behind my back. And see, that's the things we worry about. We're concerned about that. So we have to not be concerned, and you have to have somebody that you can go to. Everybody needs a person that they can talk to.
Right.
Period.
Right. It's true.
Someone that's going to listen to you and not judge you. Okay.
Okay. So
let me get one more. Can I get one more?
Yeah, one more.
Okay. This is okay. Now has to do with State Senator Dr. Richard Pan. There is a recall effort.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
That is out. He gave it
to recall him?
To recall him. And this is all over the Senate Bill 277, which we all know that is the child vaccination requirement. You know, if you go to school, you have to take these. You have to get vaccinated. The kids have to get vaccinated. So there's been a recall effort for that. There was a referendum out there to pull back that bill, but that is going to fail. It's falling short of the votes that it needs to get. But the recall effort is still in effect because the group that's pushing it, that's leading it, has until December to get 36,000 signatures to recall. So there'll be another election if that happened. Dr. Penn told me last week that he think they maybe at this point have 12,000. So you got about a couple more months left. It's a 50-50. They could get it, they could get it not. But I do know by reading certain reports that like 60-65% of the state is in favor of vaccination. I mean, they have that choice. And if it's 65% of the people who agree with this.
But should it be mandatory, though?
And it should be. I mean, I thought it was mandatory when we were growing up. I had to get vaccinated.
You got a vaccination mark on your shoulder?
Yeah, right.
When you was a kid, you get this. They get you with
the shots, right? Sure. And
but you know the thing that's really really scary about all of this. If you've been given vaccinations all these years, why suddenly did it become bad? Well,
I think people are more. There's.
A lot of religion.
There's concern.
Religion has something.
There was concern that the government, because the government is not always truthful, you don't know if the pharmaceutical companies is trying to get rich off of. They might we want to introduce a new thing into this regimen. Yeah. There's concern that they're not 100%.
I think a lot of it has to do with like what you're saying with the government is. You can't tell me what to do and what to do with my kids.
That's part of it too, as well.
You know what I mean?
They want to protect their children from everything. So you don't know. Like I said, there's a distrust with the government right now, even with Congress and everything. So this distrust has trickled down to even these medical concerns.
And that's a legitimate concern.
Yeah. Well, for me, if I had children, I'd be concerned too as well.
So but then again, it's like I don't want my kids coming back home with lice.
Right.
When one kid when one kid come back with a cold. That affects the whole house. You already know this.
Right. So you ain't gonna worry about your kid come home with lice.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's move on to other news.
You use right now.
The Million Man March.
Have you heard anything about the Million Man March?
Well, Barry Acius, he went.
Yeah, I saw pictures online that Barry.
He put a lot of pictures on there.
But wait a minute.
Right now, the thing about that is it's the 20th anniversary. The first one was October 16, 1995. So the Nation of Islam put together another march, but they called it Justice or Else March.
So now
that sounds
Justice
ominous.
Or else.
That sounds ominous.
But I heard the first year that they had the Million Man March, they asked everybody to give $1.
How much they asked this year?
$20.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay, but at the same time, my question is, what's different for Black men in America since the first Million Man March 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I
would like to know.
I heard from people that went.
What's different?
There was no
Trayvon.
There were no solutions given.
Mike Brown.
It's just a conversation about what's going on.
Eric Garner.
Well, the first one was about Black men, right?
12-year-old Tamir.
Yeah.
And this one was everybody. He invited everybody.
Yes.
Farrakhan invited everybody.
My point I'm trying to make is, where's the progression? Where's the progression since 20 years? It's almost like it seems like everything's going downhill. Versus
I think
unemployment is still high in the Black community.
Yeah, even then.
Okay. Kids are graduating and they don't have proper education.
Yeah, well, even then, I think that with everything going on, right now, with such emphasis, the conversation has definitely, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement and the Trayvon Martin and all these things that's happening, I think right now is probably a good time to have the march, because there is so much attention on these issues that you can actually build up momentum around these issues. Because before, with the first march, all these things there was no real outcry. Even though you knew these things was happening, there was no real, media attention on all these issues.
But there's an outcry on this one.
Now there's an outcry that they can actually use as momentum.
people that went there and went to this new Million Man March, they didn't walk away with no solutions. They just, it's one thing. I hear about it already. I can hear in the street about it. I don't have to go to a Million Man March.
Yeah, well, I think, to me, marching and, using the old tactics of the 70s and stuff, I think
obsolete.
Well, yeah, I think that.
Well, you got to, if you want a different result,
marching
you got to do something
is good
different.
for building, solidarity.
Yeah, but if you want something different to happen, you got to do something different. Period. You can't keep saying the same. They beat me down and they hurt me, and then at the same time, you're not doing nothing about it. Well, the actions are not changing.
Yeah,
we still got brothers on the corner fighting for turf, for land that they don't even own. Yeah, that kind of stuff like that. So what's really changing? Yeah, there's got to be more.
It has to be a paradigm shift somewhere.
Oh, somewhere.
Our wheels are still spinning.
Yeah,
that's what Brother Goss is still saying.
I think
there hasn't been any progression.
What Goss is saying is important is that we still don't know where to put our efforts because we don't know what there's such a fracture in our community where we don't know exactly how to deal with, what's an effective way to deal with these issues.
Well, I think that the first thing, it starts with the self. You got to the man in the mirror. You got to check out the man in the mirror first because when you ride an airplane, what do they say? You put your mask on first before you try to help somebody else.
Right.
So it goes back to that. We've got to get ourselves together so that when I come in your world, I can help you. If I am still walking around here on one leg, how am I going to help you run?
But black folks are kind of strange. They be like, well, you have some people that be like, Jesus is the answer, and then some other black folks be like, Allah is the answer.
But the answer is going to be different for everybody. But at some point, you got to
have to say together. We have to have a common interest.
Sure,
right?
You got to meet each other in the middle.
You're like, okay, what's our common interest? What we working for? And I think that's the problem that we have is that we don't have a way to pinpoint that common interest and say, okay, we're going to shoot for this. That's what we're going to shoot for. We all agree.
Sure, we all agree that there is a problem.
This issue right here. Okay. Police brutality is our issue, or whatever issue you want to focus on.
The issue. How about we start with the issue of us killing ourselves? We started. We need to work on that. That's a problem that's really crazy. Like you hear in Chicago, how many black folks are dying over a weekend? Mm-hmm. Okay, and what are they dying for? Nothing. Mm-hmm. For nothing. Okay, that how many times you have to see that in the news to know something's wrong with that?
Right.
That mindset, the whole 9 yards, and people got to stop making excuses for it. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why I should be killing you over a block of land that I don't own.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, it's true. Okay, moving on. Have you heard about Raven Simone's?
Oh yeah! Wow. She came out with an apology though, right?
She apologized.
What did she say?
Can you elaborate?
She said
Tony?
She would not hire anybody with a ghetto name.
Raven. What do you think Raven is? Ghetto. You named your daughter after a bird. So now if I name my daughter,
is that her
Alexis,
given name or is that her stage name?
Her name is Raven Simone, but it's another last name. But she'll, her stage name,
Raven.
Her first two names. But Goss is right. Her dad named her these names, and he came out publicly and said, "Oh, you know what? She's crazy."
Yeah.
He even said his own daughter was crazy. That's probably why she came back and said, "Hey."
Yeah, her father caught her in the corner and said,
"But
you know
she's
what?
been saying and doing a lot of controversial things."
Well,
I don't know. I just
you have to understand. You have to understand when you get to a certain status of money. You think that you can say and do the things you want to do.
And she's doing that.
And she's doing just
she's
that.
not the only one, because I believe the circle that she runs around
is the same thing.
The same way. But I just don't get it. What
Well,
you have a privileged
Here's
life.
the deal. She's on a TV show. She knows that she can get the air. Raven Simone is at a point where she just wants it.
But she's only getting the air right now, Goss, because of what she's saying. She don't have no hit record or no.
But that's what I'm saying. Hit
show out now.
You need attention.
Yeah. Okay.
You need attention. So the only way that I can get attention, let me be silly, and I'm going to say some stupid stuff. I may have to retract it next week.
That sounds like Ben Carson.
I know that man had lost his mind. Okay, next up is there has been two outside investigators that have ruled the death of Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice
was reasonable.
Yes.
That his death was that the officer was reasonable in shooting Tamir Rice, the little boy that was playing with the gun.
You roll up on him and then you just start shooting him.
After 2 seconds, he didn't even. All you had to do was sit there. To me, it's like all you have to do. If there was a call to the police, right, that there's a little boy in the park or in this field playing, right. All you have to do is sit there, pull up to the park, way far away, and just watch the boy for a while, and they'd be like, okay, he's just playing. But why roll up on a child and in 2 seconds just shoot? I mean, even if the to me it was, and then they say okay, it was reasonable that he took those actions, and it's like it is.
I don't know, when you look at the video, it's like
2 seconds.
You look at the video and it's like, come on now,
no,
they don't have nothing to do with no training.
Put the gun down.
You're just as bad as anybody else, who doing these type of things. There was no reason to roll up on him just like that and just pop, 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 pop.
I know. It's like no
whether
announcement.
He was 12 or 24.
Yeah, no announcement of who you are. Be like, put the gun down.
Nothing.
I'm Officer so-and-so.
The young kid did not have a chance.
And then they tackled his sister, right? The sister came out.
Now, if you look at the video previous to that, when he's walking through this, when he's out there playing, right, that too. That was dirty. They did the sister dirty. Okay, he's pointing the gun, and there's about 2 or 3 people that walk past. Right. And he ain't shot nobody yet.
Right.
All right. Now, I don't know if that information was relayed to these officers, but there's already people walking past him and it's like, hey, you got a gun, a real gun? I don't know, but he's not capping, he's not spraying at nobody.
Right.
But you want to come up there because you got a gun. You're police.
Well, I think it goes into the whole benefit of the doubt, right? When it comes to black males, when they see a black male doing something, a black man doing something, or a black boy doing something, it's automatically assumed that he's up to no good. These assumptions have to be challenged.
I mean, it's so disturbing because what we were just talking about a couple months when the first anniversary show, the cop, I believe in the same city, Cleveland, jumps up on a car and just starts shooting it to these, okay, and he gets off.
Yeah, because he's not.
It ain't one like he drove up there 2 seconds. He started shooting. You know what?
That's because black folks.
It goes back to mental health.
We got all these other cop shooters. I'm just gonna jump up on the car and hey, forget it. I'm happy. I got
a couch over here,
man,
for some folks to lay on. I'm telling you, it goes back to mental health. We can keep complaining about the guns and the whole 9 yards, but like they say, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Okay.
So we need to get some mental health going on in America. When they closed down all these mental health hospitals in California.
Yeah, Reagan did.
Yeah. Reagan did that.
You ought to know that there was going to be some stuff happening in the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are here.
Yeah.
And they here.
Yeah.
And they done had babies. And they done pollinated.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
That's deep.
Moving on to tech news. Wait. Come
back here with this here Kanye West.
Okay. All right.
He's another one who's looking for attention.
Well, he did a good job this time. He went on American Idol. He showed up. He did like a little cameo appearance on American Idol as one of the contestants, right? Uh-huh. So he did a contestant video. He did one of his raps, whatever. I think it was a good promotional effort on his thing. It was cheeky, right? It was cheeky. So he just went there. He was like, okay, I'm Kanye West. I'm gonna do this. I think it was kind of cool. It was fun. He didn't really make any remarks talking about that he's Jesus or anything. So I think.
Did he talk about being the president?
No, he didn't. He just went there. He just had a bit of fun. So
I just go back to what you say, Goss. Just looking for some attention or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you in that business, you got to constantly be.
You got to be up, but you know what? At the same time, you have to watch
trying to generate.
Right.
You have to watch how far you'll go out there to get that attention.
Protect your brand.
Rihanna, everybody, they all looking for that. Okay, so moving on to tech news briefly. There's a couple of links in the program notes that you can click on. There's a Kickstarter thing right now, a laser razor. So would you shave your face with a laser?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So all these things causing cancer and stuff like that, you think,
absolutely not.
I don't think the laser would cause cancer. But, they have a laser edge, whatever.
I see it all
glowing. How you glowing in the dark? Why are you glowing? I'm using that laser.
You be very, or you
look like Krypton or something.
I wonder would it give laser bumps, right? I wonder how it would be. Okay, so Google offers a virtual reality street view. So now you can use, right now virtual reality is all the rage. So you can actually put on these goggles, and when you turn your head, the view changes as you turn your head, like you in regular life.
I've seen that.
And so now Google has offered in its Google Maps that you could actually put on a VR headset and you can actually walk around Oak Park, right, with the VR headset, because you can do the street view on Google, and you'd be like, boom, I can see the brick house right there, Nah. So that's kind of cool. I think that black folks should get into,
I'm gonna drive to the brick house.
All right, and then on another thing, Stephen Hawkins talking about technology is making inequality worse. So he goes, I put a link on there to click on that. Black folks need to be hip to this, is that the more technology we get, I talked about this many times, our jobs start to disappear because the more advanced technology.
So that's why we have to go to school and learn how to use these computers and all this modern technology.
Yeah. So and not shut ourselves down and be stuck in the past. We have to constantly keep moving forward.
Be black and forward.
And you know what? If Stephen Hawking said it, I better read this article.
Right. Okay. And then the last thing on here is Amazon is trying to compete with Etsy right now. They're starting a new website called Handmade. If you're on Etsy, you might want to check out Amazon, because Amazon is like the number one bookseller in the world. But not only for number
one book pimp.
Yeah, it's for everything now. I mean, they sell technology, they sell everything, and you can have your own business and sell them there as well. And now they want to compete with Etsy, where you have like all you soap makers out there that's actually making your own soap. You can put on there, or jewelry makers. Right. So this can be an avenue that you can sell more things
worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide. You can have a bigger audience.
Ooh, our faithful listeners, please be aware of that.
Yeah, check that out.
Very interesting.
So I got a link on all these things on the program notes. You can go online to blacktalksacramento.com and check out the program notes to all these things. Click on these links and be more informed. And I guess that's our day.
Yeah,
we had a pretty good day.
Hey,
another great show.
Yeah. So who was our guest again?
Aquanetta Gordon. She was the author of Echoes of an Angel.
Echoes of an Angel. Come out and buy her book right here in Underground Books.
That's right.
And, book based on her blind son.
Yes, and
Ben Underwood.
And we had our Mr. Sweeney came over. He read a poem.
Great.
And
masterpiece.
Promoting the Seniors Readers Day that's going to be happening
October.
Check an ID.
Every last Saturday.
You show up. I'm going to check you out. I know you.
Okay.
We need some senior edges around there, y'all.
Come on down.
And my name is Inside Ah.
I'm Jerry Goss Simpson.
And I'm Antonio, quote unquote, Tony Harvey.
Thank you very much. And this has been Black Talk Sacramento number 13.
Thank you, Mother Rose, for
having us.
Love you.
We love you. We are
Underground
signing
Books.
off.
See you later.
Off the air. Peace.
Bye-bye.